Hello everybody. I've been excited to get this package in the mail as I knew that it was the Strength and Conditioning for Young Athletes 3rd edition. Happy to have a chapter in this book. Also was a co-author in the 2nd edition, but really excited to look into this 3rd edition because as we went through the process, I saw the table of contents and also in our chapter, just really excited and honored to share the pages with my co-authors, Kevin Till, Des Ryan, and James Baker. So let's get into this here. So first and foremost, the editors of this book, Rodri Lloyd and John Oliver, definitely need to be congratulated for this undertaking, and also I think just for their general leadership in the area of youth athletic development over the past few decades. So let's look at this table of contents here, and then let's page through it a little bit. I always like to start with a table of contents when I read a book, just to get a general understanding of what's in it and what the story is, so to speak. As you can see, section 1 starts with the impact of growth and maturation, which if you follow my work, you know I'm delighted to see that. As I always say, you first need to understand the system, and that system is normal growth and maturation. Also delighted to see here, chapter 1 focuses on physical performance, but we can never ignore, neglect, overlook chapter 2, which focuses on the psychosocial development. And then as we continue through this foundational section, we can see a chapter on talent identification and development. And then we have monitoring and managing training load in young athletes, a very important topic, followed by coaching young athletes. So again, you're going to go through this book and you're going to learn a lot about growth, maturation, physical development, psychosocial development, changes in speed, how to program for strength, so on and so forth. But this chapter 5, how do we connect? How do we coach young athletes is so important. So happy to see that in that foundations section. Now, as we move into section 2, we have developing the physical fitness or the physical qualities in young athletes. And we're going to go through each of these physical qualities. But of course, we should start with how do we develop just fundamental movement skills, or as John Radner likes to call them, the athletic motor skill competencies. And then we get into strength and power, and then a chapter dedicated to just weightlifting. So my hunch there is it's going to focus on the Olympic movements and the derivatives and how those are taught and programmed in young athletes. And then continuing along with that aspect of ballistic exercise, we go into plyometric training and then speed development. And then we have to move right and left and backwards and forwards and so on and so forth, right? So we have to change directions. And then after the speed development, we have this chapter on agility training. Taken all together, we can call this conditioning as well, and a chapter on both aerobic and anaerobic fitness training. And then we cannot forget about mobility and balance to round out this section on physical qualities. Section 3 then focuses on the holistic development of the young athlete. So starting with periodization strategies, reducing injuries, and then thankfully a chapter on nutritional strategies as well, as we focus again a lot on training here, but we have to also understand that side of recovery and especially nutritional strategies as well. And then creating appropriate training environments, which probably goes along very well with chapter 5, coaching young athletes, but probably cuts across many of these chapters as well. And then to end the book, section 4, long-term athletic development in action. So we have integrating strength and conditioning programs into schools for specialized young athletes, because we know we are not going to get around this issue of early sports specialization. So let's embrace it and let's learn how to integrate strength and conditioning programs for these youngsters. And then finishing the book, we bookend it. Again, my colleagues, James Baker, Des Ryan, and Kevin Till, we talk about sporting academies. So that's the table of contents. And as we flip through, one thing that I noticed in our chapter, and I think in a few others, are some of the visuals in here. Let's see if we can find a few of them now. Some of the visuals and the tables and the figures are exceptional. So I think this is going to be a great read for anybody involved in the strength and conditioning of young athletes.